जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजमणि वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। पतित पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय लॉर्ड श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। गौर परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Lord Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjansalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurah Shridutapadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanidam Tan Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Visakha Nitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasatya Deshatarane Hansakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. As per the instruction of His Grace Rasayatra Prabhu, in spite of my feeble knowledge in scriptures and the insignificant understanding what I have, I'm going to share with each one of you. Today, the topic what we thought of discussing is the goal of life. Each living entity in this whole cosmic manifestation are sure looking for something substantial, no doubt in it. Whether that living entity is an insignificant ant or a different species of animals, or could be one among odds, the human species, or even the higher species of life, could be a demigod. Each one of us we are searching for happiness. Is that not correct? Everybody is searching for happiness. And that's the constitutional things or characteristic of a living entity. The Vedic literature tells us the soul is always looking for and always searching for happiness. Anandamoy Vyasat. There's nothing unnatural over there. It's natural propensity. But if we look for something and we plan for it, we keep a goal for it, we keep an object for it, and then work on it. Is that not a sweet journey? That's a sweet journey. And eventually, in this world, we know that the people, those who have a goal, who have plan, and work accordingly their plan, eventually they achieve it. That's what the whole motivator speaks nowadays in this world. And it's fact. Why it is fact? From spiritual point of view, that's Ishapanisad says about it. But nevertheless, our great Acharya Srila Prabhupada tells us planning is 50% of the work done. If a person has made effective plan according to one's psychophysical nature and according to one's need and according to one's capacity, if the plan is appropriate, in general the person receives success. That is, even if one doesn't receive success, in the course of action, the things what he receives, that is something not less than success. Whether one is doing that as a profession, whether that one is doing that as a devotion, it's all the same. It's all the same. Because with that activity, one receives the things, achieves the things, eventually that's what it is, make him happy. So for that reason, especially the human being has to make plan. The cultured human being in general work under plan. So, what is the specialty in human being? The scripture says that ahar nidra bhayamayichunam samanyameta pasubhi narana dharmam hitesam adhika vishesham dharme nahinam pasunam samanam. The four activities what a human being does: eating, sleeping, bathing, and defending. The same four activities are also getting done by other species of life. But what is specialty in human being is they have the power to distinguish what is their prescribed duty. And that is their specialty. And without that, according to scripture, a human being is considered no better than animal. For a cultured human being, there must be a goal of life. And as far as goal of life is concerned, there could be immediate goals and there could be long-run goals. But for all the ages, for all time to come, the great personalities in this world have shown us how to set the goal, irrespective of one's knowledge, one's caste, one's creed, one's positions. Those things are not so very important to set one's goal. What is more important is a person, how he look forward to receive the success, or to achieve the success in his life. How is sincere. That's what it is matter. Based on sincerity, on seriousness, one make the appropriate goal of life. For around 500 to 600 years back, there were the great personalities, those who were Prime Minister and Finance Minister of Bengal province. Nowadays, we see that there is West Bengal and East Bengal, there is country Bangladesh. But those days, there were East Bengal and West Bengal, both are part of India. And those are together called the province of Bengal. In the whole province, which were ruled by Muslim government or Mughal government, the two great personalities who later on become famous as Jiva Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They were finance and prime minister, and they had enormous good qualities. No doubt they had spiritual qualities, but nevertheless they had all the necessary qualities a human being look after. They were the great linguists. They had around 12 languages they had mastered about it. They had great wealth, great knowledge, high popularity. Their popularity and their knowledge is so much so that the Muslim government, there is verse in Charitamrita, it says that Nawab Hussain Shah considered them as their own brothers. How many of us, we are so expert that our professional boss considers all his brother and gives us the equal facility as his own? Hardly anybody. Maybe very few, but they were the people. And despite having all those great opulences in terms of knowledge, terms of popularity, fame, qualities, they were very humble. And their plan or their desire is to align their understanding, align their service in the will of the Lord. That is what a great personality does from spiritual point of view. When the Supreme Personality God, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared in this world, eventually he was living in Jagannath Puri, a sannyasi, and traveling. On the plea of going to Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached a place called Ramkeli, where Rupa and Sanatana were residing as Prime Minister and Finance Minister of King Nawab Hussain Shah. In the middle of the night, both of them, they went to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the questions, what they asked. They asked, Sanatana Goswami asked, who am I? Who is God? What is my relation with God? Why am I experiencing threefold miseries and fourfold problems of life? How can I get out of these things? And this is the vital question. These are the vital questions a cultured human being is expected to ask on his own. And Vedic literature tells us, Tamasima Yotirgama. Don't stay in the darkness of ignorance. Proceed towards the light of knowledge. What is that knowledge? That knowledge is not to have the big academic scholarship, getting a good job, having a good fame, good popularity, good position. Those are there. I don't say they are not useful. They are useful. Of course they are useful. They are needed. We don't reject them. But what is more important is, more than that, we must know who are we. We are not this body, we are the soul. Srimad Bhagavatam, from beginning itself, it tells that we are not the body, we are the soul. And who is God? We must know that. We must ask questions. And after knowing who is God, who am I, we must know what is my relationship with God. And Srila Prabhupada, the great founder Acharya of our society, hence, with his mastermind, he has given us the sum and substance of what is called self-realizations. Atma Sakshatkar. On the name of self-realization, on the name of Atma Sakshatkar, we can see there are hundreds and thousands of spiritual organizations. They give big talk, and many of those talks may not sink into our mind or our understanding, because they are very, very highly complicated stuffs. But knowing the situations of our conditions in this world, Srila Prabhupada, the great Acharya, has very simplified form, clearly given us what is self-realization in these three questions. Who am I? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? And after knowing it, what should I do it? What is my prescribed duty? Only these four vital questions, if anybody has, and eventually got the answer for that. And if he is sincere enough, work accordingly or act accordingly, he is called self-realized person. No doubt in that. One may say, oh, it sounds very big thing. Yes, it is big thing. By Srila Prabhupada's grace, we got it in easier way. But it's definitely a big thing. It's not a small thing. So one must set the goal. As living entities, we are eternal. And hence, the desire of permanent happiness should be our prime motive. Yet, the souls change millions of bodies, going up and down in 14 planet systems. But throughout the journey of going through so many spiritual life, going through so many planetary systems, what is the living entity doing? Living and chasing after illusory peace and pleasures, expecting huge amounts of, spending huge amounts of energies to achieve the temporary pleasures of this world. Is it not? Each one of us, we can look into our own life, where we are investing our energies, where we are spending our time most. Unless you are very serious in Krishna consciousness, each of our endeavor, each of our activities are temporary. We can talk a little bit about goal of life. A small child who is going to school, what could be his goal of life? Its goal of life would be drag the attention of teachers, drag the attention of classmates, schoolmates, drag the attention of the parents and relatives, and if it's a little more serious in study, get good score in the exam. Is it not? This is what the goal of a child is. But let us think, let us ponder on this. Whether each of this goal or each of this aspect of the goal, what we just talked about for a child, is that last long? How long that last? Eventually, when the child completes his school study, goes to another higher study, those attentional teachers last with him? No. And forget of going to different school. In the same school, when he promotes to next grade, his schoolmates, they change. His study, but the books are changing. His scoring in the different subject matter scale is changing. His scope of people to whom he meets is changing. Can he cope up with this goal? He cannot. Cannot. Even if he achieves, still he will not be satisfied. Because that is keep on changing. It's temporary goal. It's not the real goal of life. Now let's think of something little bit senior person to that. Could be a young boy or young girl. Could be his little higher educations. Could be 10th or 12th standard. What do they think of? What is their goal? Almost in similar line, but from the external point of view, a little different. To get more name and fame, to get a so-called, what do you call, the rewards from their study. And the people, those who have not known the cultured world, seek pleasure from the opposite genders. Is it not what the youngsters are doing now? That is what their goal of life would be. But how long that they go on doing it? They cannot do for a long time. Because those goals are also temporary. And their achievements, even though they achieve to some extent, those achievements also doesn't last long. We see the greatest prize in this world is Nobel Prize. The person who receives Nobel Prize this year, next year, I don't know. There are very few people those who received Nobel Prize more than once. Right? So those names and fames, those temporary goals are even temporary. And then the people, those who are grown up, those who are middle-aged, those who have their responsibility in this world, within their own scope of life, it could be within their family, within their friends, within their professional colleagues, what they look for, almost the same line, but little difference. What is the difference is that how I can be happy, how I can make my family member happy. Or those are little different way. Those are like selfless, in the sense, so-called selfless people in this world, or you can say humanitarian activities, those who do. They may say, well, how can my society would be happy? How can my country people would be happy, right? But Srila Prabhupada, the great Acharya in a society, the founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, he says that these are all sense gratification. Looking for one's own happiness or looking for one's own temporary pleasure is definitely sense gratification for one's own self. But nevertheless, one may say, well, I'm not looking after my pleasure or my things, my achievements. I'm looking for others. I'm looking for people in general. I'm looking for people, my society, my country, my nation. So Prabhupada says they are extended sense gratification. Why? Why it is called sense gratification? Because what we are looking for is the people's happiness, the happiness of people, those who are connected to me. It is because of me, they connected to me, I look for them. People, those who are connected to my country, not others' country. Those connected to my nation, those connected to my street, my society. All this me are there. And because of these me and I and mine, these are all called extended sense gratification. And that doesn't last long. Because there is no substance in it. They are temporary. So Prabhupada says that if somebody is a big nationalist, and he gives an example, let's say there is India-Pakistan war is going on, and somebody from India, and he hates Pakistanis. And in this course of time, within the course of time, he leaves his body. He dies. What if he takes a life in the country of Pakistan? Where is his goal? Gone. They're all gone. They're all temporary goals. What is the permanent goal then? What we should look after? How we should set the goal? Our objective is not the temporary peace and happiness available in this material world. We must understand that all living in this, each one of us, we are eternal. And hence, the desire for permanent happiness should be our prime motive. And that is why a cultured human being should ask the questions like Sanatana Goswami. Keami kene amar jare tapatra. I do not know this, and how can I benefit out of it? So, in this world, the entire world is enchanted by Maya, the illusion, and more or less, people have forgotten their ultimate goal of life. Why they have forgotten? Because they are influenced by these dazzling attractions of this material world. And in this material world, who are being affected by those dazzling attractions? People, those who have no substance. I can give a simple example. Many of you must have heard one of our very famous devotee speaker, just Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. At least some of you might have heard. He gives a very nice analogy. He gives an analogy saying that imagine that you are in your home and you are just sitting in your home, and from the side of your windows you could see a group of robbers or thieves come to our home and knock the door. And they have weapons. They can break open the doors and get inside. We know about it. What should we do? We have two options to do. One option, we should keep our weapons ready, get ready to combat them and drag them away. Keep the bolt tight in the door. This is one option. Then in general, everybody in this world thinks that. What is the other option? The other option is that you can definitely put the bolt tight of your door and do the activity at the same time at your home, which make you completely absorbed. You are fully into it. What happens? The knocking on the door, it hardly hurt by you because you are absorbed in your activities, isn't it? That will hardly bother you. The same thing. It is the same thing that the attraction of this world the illusory attractions. Why it's called illusory? Because they are not real. They are illusory. They are temporary. And those attractions in this world will not impact us if we are substantially engaged in the activity which makes us to observe in it. That is why it has been told that the persons who have sharp knowledge, they will always think of this permanent or the goals which will be lasting for long, which will eventually go with them even if after they die. Can there be some goal like that? Yes, there are goals. We must know about it. Once we know about it, then we will think of implementing our life about those things. And then we are the people, those who achieve those permanent goals. In general, we see that, as we discussed by now, people seek the material enjoyment, even within the context of religion. We see that the people, those who are religious, on the name of religion, what they do? Eat good food stuff, what they like. Meet with the people and talk something which is non-permanent, what they like. Right? Even though the rituals are there, the rituals are become mere rituals, but they must do the spiritual, not ritual. Spirit must be added to it. Then that's spiritual activity. Otherwise, it's simple ritual, mere ritual. What in general people do after going to temple? Maybe they utter few Sanskrit prayers to the Lord. That's good, nothing wrong in doing that. But what is the goal of those prayers, or what is the meaning of those prayers? I remember from my childhood, the priests taught us when we go to temple or when we do some auspicious rituals at home, we offer prayer. What is that? Dhanam Dehi, Janam Dehi, Bhagyam Bhavan Dehi, Sanatanaya, right? My dear Lord, my dear God, give me the wealth, give me the name, fame, give me the good fortune. Dehi, 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 Dehi. Is that the thing that our goal of life? No, that's not our goal of life. Because even if we get that, how long that lasts with us? So, on the name of religion, there are other category of people, those who are called jnanis, those who understood that we are not the body or the soul, those who understood that this world is not the right place for me to reside, those who understood the activities that I am doing is not correct for me. I should get rid of this matter world. Still, they, on the power of illusory energy, they think that I should merge with the Brahman. I should get out of this activities of this world. That's not the permanent goal of life. And the others, other category people, they think of their getting perfection of their life is by being top in their area. In Sanskrit, they are called mystic siddhis. And it's unimaginable siddhis. There are 8 mystic siddhis that described in scriptures. Anima, Lagima, so many things. One can become smallest of the small, one can become bigger of the bigger fellows. All those stuffs with their various yogic activities. But how long those siddhis will with them? They cannot have them for all the time. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Savai Asanta Krishna Bhakta Niskama Atava Shanta. The people, those are looking after bhukti, the positions in this world, mukti, the liberation from this world. The people, those who are of knowledge, rituals, they are all disturbed. Savai Asanta. Why? Because they are not sure whether they get it. Even after getting, they still need more. More and more and more and more and more and more. There is no ending of unending desires. But Krishna Bhakta, Niskama. It has no material desire. He has no material desire. In the sense, is he desireless? No, he is not desireless. He is not a dead stone. He has feeling. He is active. But his desires are aligned with the desire of the Lord. That is what is the goal of life. That is what is the goal of life. Sri Upanishad declares that a principle called Isavasya principle. What is the Isavasya principle is? It is that everything movable, immovable objects in this world are the properties of the God. And one must utilize them as much as is need for them. Not as much one want of them, as much one need of them. And keeping things aside, knowing that it doesn't belong to them, it belongs to the Supreme Personality God. Ishavasangam Sapam, Jatkinchit Jagatyam Jagat, Tena Tektena Bhunjita, Magritha Kasisudhanam. And anybody who takes away or who grabs those which are not one's necessities, then according to the Isavasya principle, he is called thief. And Srila Prabhupada says that, do you think the society where there are thieves and rogues are trying to plunder each other's, plunder the properties in this world and quarrel because of that, will they be happy? They cannot be happy. The society can never be happy. Whereas, what is the Krishna Bhakta devotees' goal of life is follow this Isavasya principle. I can give a simple example. The other day we were discussing our Bhakti Vikya. Imagine that we visit one of our friends' home or relatives' home, and they gave their inner couch that this is your room, you can stay here. This is your bedroom, you can stay here. As long as you are here, you can stay here. All the facilities are properly over there. You have your nice things to amusement, you have nice things to use. And all of them are kept for you to use it. And to use it. Imagine while going the next day, you take some of these things in your pocket or in your bag and carry them. Will your friend like you? Will your relative like you? Then definitely not. They will not like you. But they don't mind if you use them while remaining there. And that's what God is telling us. Utilize things I kept for you, man. For your happiness, I kept the things over here. You be happy over here with these things. And through this satisfaction, you understand that I gave you. So think of me. And while using that, you will know that you cannot use it for long because you will have to give up your body. Then you think the person who gave me, let me go to him so that I can forever be with him and use them forever and continue to receive my happiness, to receive my pleasure. So now this question is coming. Who is actually intelligent man? And what is his plan or what is his goal of life? Every person in this world is looking after wealth, become rich. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami says, in the context of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives his wonderful teachings to Sanatana Goswami in Allahabad, tells that Premadhana vina vyartha daridra jivana dasa kari vetan more deha premadhana. Without the love of Godhead, this whole life is simply a life of poverty, daridra jivana. When somebody is poverty stricken, what he does? He look after wealth. And in this world, each one of us, those who are living in the household life, what will look after to get the wealth? Take a job, right? Be a servant of the company, servant of the organization, or anything for that matter. Be a servant, right? Mahaprabhu says that what one should do that? One should consider oneself a servant. Daso kori betan more deha premadhana. My dear Lord, keep me as a servant. Yes, I would like to take the salary, betan. But what is that salary? I should have a loving devotional service towards you. That should be my goal. That is my goal. And then, how to achieve this pure goal? It looks a very high thing for us. We are in the stage that we don't really know who God is and how to think of loving God. One great sannyasi in our society, His Holiness Haladhara Swami Maharaj, he gives an example. It's for scripture basically. He says that every sadhaka, every practicing devotee, according to Bhagavad Gita, in fact, every human being, every living entity is what? Is called as Prakriti. In the sense, the thing which will be enjoyed by Purusha or the man. And who is a Purusha? Supreme Personality God, Krishna is a Purusha. And everybody, irrespective of whatever gender we may be, male or female, we are all Prakriti. And we know that the Prakriti will be having its happiness or enjoyment when it is enjoyed by the Purusha. That is true. So the process of bhakti is nothing but having a Prakriti to get married with Purusha. Or a living entity, or a wife is marrying with a husband. And the scripture tells us that those who are aware that in earlier days, the children of younger age, they get married. It's called Balya Vivaha. And after marriage, the girl will stay in the girl's house, parents' house, boy will stay in their parents' house. They were a young child, they got married. But time to time, the girl's parent will keep inviting the boy to come their house. And the boy will keep coming. And the girl's parent, his mother and father, they teach the girl how to serve the boy. Serve meal, make him to sit comfortably, give him the food, give him the water, give him the like serve in very natural way. That is, by the time the girl receives her age of maturity, grown up age, she has been taught very clearly, very undisturbedly serving her husband. And by that time, she will be sent to husband's house. This is what the Vedic style of living at those days. In the same way, the living entities, the practicing devotees of Krishna consciousness, are being taught by the spiritual masters to learn how to serve the Supreme Personality Godhead who happened with their husband. And when one is receive the perfection in that, and then one will go back to Godhead, house of husband, and serve there without any hesitation, because he or she knows the expert of serving without any hesitation. So whatever Mahaprabhu taught to Sanatana Goswami, the same thing. Dasapari Betan More, they have Premadha. So by this course of learning, girl eventually reaches the stage of loving her husband. The process of marriage made her to know who is her husband. The rituals and the process of life made her to learn how to serve her husband. And while serving, he fell in love with her husband. And then wife and husband remain peaceful in their household life. The same way, when we accept Krishna consciousness, that is the day when we declare our marriage with our beloved husband of Supreme Personality Godhead, Sri Krishna. And our spiritual master, our spiritual guides, they train us how to serve the Lord with the process called Vaidhi Bhakti. It's a technical word called Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi means there is rules and regulation. There are do's and don'ts. With that way you serve the Lord. And eventually while serving the Lord, you will love the Lord. And once you fall in love with the Lord throughout your services, you are at the stage where you can go back home, back to Godhead. That's the goal of life. And in a very practical way, how to achieve that? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Jat karo shasnasi, jat josh rasit, jat tapasisi kaunteya, tat kurusva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. If you do so, you will be free from the bondage that arise due to the various activities. A very simple way. And Krishna also says that Manmanava Madhakta Madhyajimang Namaskuru. Mam Nona, through your mind you think of me. Madhakta, become my devotee. Madhyaji, you offer your homage to me. Mang Namaskuru, offer your respect to me. In this way you will think of me. If you think of me, I will think of you. In this way we think of each other. And eventually we'll meet each other. We'll love each other. This is how we should live our life. We don't have to give up our position where whatever we have. We don't have to give our wealth. We don't have to give anything in this world. Whatever Krishna has given to us, let us have them. Nothing wrong in possessing things. What is wrong is being attached to those things. Let us not be attached, knowing that these are temporary. They'll go off from us within due course of time, or we'll go off them. Either things will happen. Either we'll lose them, or they will lose us. So knowing those things, whatever Krishna has given to us, whatever the God has given to us in our life, let us have those things, but be grateful to the Lord and offer those things in our life as a homage, as offering to the Lord. So whatever we do, let us do that for the service of the Lord. In this way, if we set our goal, if we always keep Krishna in center while doing any activity, we'll ultimately attain Krishna. Also, it is very important that we do only the things which are authorized in the scripture, or favorable, or what is called favorable according to scripture. Not that one has to offer things to Krishna, that okay, I'll go to liquor shop, I'll offer liquor to Krishna, I'll drink it. That's not authorized. One may say, well, why that is not authorized? That's Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what can be offered to him? Patram puspam phalam toyam jame bhaktya prayachyati. You offer him leaf, you may offer him flower, you may offer him some vegetables, some cereals. But what is that main ingredient in that? Bhaktya, with a devotion. Then tadaham, then I'll ashnami, I'll accept those things. Personally, I'll accept those things. And I'll abundantly make you happy. By giving something, we feel happy. Each one of us, we have more or less this experience. If you selflessly give something to somebody, you feel inner happiness. But by acquiring things with in this world with unauthorized or illegal way, we may give temporary happiness, a temporary pleasure, but that doesn't last long. Each one of us, we have an insignificant level of experience in this world. So let us not get into that. And we must understand, I'll conclude over here. I'm over time, sorry for that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this wonderful song. Yesterday we happened to sing this song in Bhakti Likhya. Jivana nitya jana satanu tahena na vidha vipada bhara namasraya kari jatane tumi thakah apana kaje. This life is anitya, temporary. This is essence. This is the essence of all knowledge. You must know that. Jivana nitya jana sara. Not only that, is temporary. Tahe nana vidha vipadaghara. On the top of it, there are so many difficulties, so many dangers. Literally every step we face the dangers. Padam padam vipadam mutesa. Then what to do? Namasraya kari jatane tumi thakah apana kaje. Take shelter of the holy name of Krishna, and knowing that your prescribed duty, get engaged with that. That's it. We don't give up our prescribed duty. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing through Kurmakhetra during his South Yatra, the Kurma Brahmana happened to meet him, and he was delighted by meeting Mahaprabhu. He hosted Mahaprabhu and offered him all kind of services. But the next day when Mahaprabhu was able to leave his house, he was completely, completely in the sorrow state. And he was asking, my dear Lord, can you please make me to go along with you? And the waves of this metal ocean, I cannot tolerate. They are very high waves. And then, and I'm completely, every moment being affected with those high tides of this ocean of metal nations. Mahaprabhu says that, do not dare to speak like that again. What you need to do is that you remain over here. I will tell you the way that those high tides will not be affecting you. You remain in your home. Jare dekhe tare kaha Krishna upadesh hamara ajna hai guru hai tara ides. Whoever you meet, you tell them the instructions, three personality God Krishna, and you chant the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and stay in your home. In this way, you become the instructor of the people in general. In this way, whole country, whole world will be delivered, and you will be an instrument in the hand of Lord. And as far as you are affected with the high tides of this mental world, I'll ensure you. Kabu na badiva tora vishayata ranga punarapiye sthane pavo amar sanga. I'll ensure you will not be affected with this ocean of this high tides of this mental ocean, provided that you follow these activities. And then definitely we'll meet again. No worry about it. Stay away over here. And Srila Prabhupada quotes over there. Sthane stitam suchigatam tanvang manobhi. You reside wherever you are. Doesn't matter whether it's USA, whether it's India, whether it's Russia, whether it's Australia, wherever you reside. Doesn't matter. You reside wherever. What are the ashram? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Pamra, Sannyas. Wherever you are, stay there. But what do you need to do? Suchigatam. You must hear and serve the Lord with what? Tanu bang manobhi. Through your body, through your words, and through your mind. Serve the Supreme Personality Godhead. And the famous saying in English, especially in Western world, what is that? If you love me, love my dog. If you're loving Krishna, if you're loving God, then you must love everybody else in this world. Because all of them are the son and daughter of the Supreme Personality Godhead. How to love them? Prabhu Goswami says that, well, how to deal with the devotee, how to offer our respect to them with the wonderful wishes. Those are devotees. In our tradition, we say Hare Krishna. It includes everything inside. So the wonderful personality with whom I met my early days, he says that until the day comes when the beggar in the street putting his or her hand on your head, saying that let Lord do good for you, till that time you have no right to go back to God. जब तक रास्ते का भिखारी आपके सर पर हाथ रख के बोलता है भगवान तेरा भला करे, तब तक भगवत धाम जाने के लिए कोई योग्यता नहीं है. You cannot go back to God. And that happens only when we think for good for everybody. When we align our plan, our desire, our goal in the same desire of Supreme Personality God. Krishna wants us to rescue all of us to go back to Godhead. But we are not so keen. It is even told that if we move one step forward, Krishna comes 10 steps forward to take us. So let's do that. Let's do that individually and collectively. Many of us were enamored with the thought that how we can do good for people. And I had a great statement about this. I can share with you. It's practical. It's very practical. Maybe we can see that we are in a place which is dirty in the floor. We think that why can't we? I can put a carpet over here. I can put a good carpet over here. Everybody can stand over a nice carpet. Looks good, feel good, isn't it? So, in a sense, if one wants to spread the carpet throughout the world, is it possible? It's not possible. It's impossible. But what is possible is if one wears a slipper, a footwear, and seeing him, others, his friends, his relatives, his colleagues, his near and dears start wearing footwear. If everybody wears the footwear, what is the need of carpet? Carpet has already been there. So let's do on our own. Let's not wait for others to do. Let's do on our own and be an exemplary in our life. Let's start the holy name of the Lord Krishna. Namarupe, Koli Kale Namarupe, Krishna Vatara, Niraparadhe Namalaile, Pave Premadhana. Just chant the holy name by avoiding all the offenses, and Krishna will give us the love of God. No doubt on it. And I'll conclude with this statement from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was first time from Jagannath Puri goes towards Bengal. He was residing in one devotee's house. His name is Vidyavasaspati, who happened to be the brother of Sarvamodacharya. In his house, he was hiding himself. And how can Supreme Lord in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can hide himself? Everybody got to know about it. They came to the house. It described Chaitanya Bhagavat very elaborately. People were coming from all around, all the places from all around through rivers Ganges. They mentioned that they took the the bark of banana tree and placed over the river Ganges and stand over there. And eventually, by the grace of Supreme Personality God, they could swim over the river Ganges, other side of the other shore of the shore of the river Ganges and reach over there. All of the millions and trillions of people are reaching over there, and they are asking Devadhanti, why you are so miser? Why don't you have the us to receive the causeless mercy of the Lord, to behold the moonlight form of the Supreme Personality God and Mahaprabhu? At last, Mahaprabhu came out and he has raised his elongated hands and chanted the holy name. Vrindavan says that anybody who happened to see even the tip of the finger of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose hands are enlarged ages, and they achieved the perfection of their life by developing love for Krishna, love for God. And then all of them, many of them, they asked him, my dear Lord, now you have been shifted from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri Dham, and we are all householders. We cannot go and stay with you forever. We are staying over here. How can we, while doing our household activities, we become Krishna consciousness? Please instruct us. Please guide us. You are our teacher. You are our guide. Mahaprabhu says that. This is very true statement. Let us remember this for our whole life. Is that Aparadha tyaji सकृत नाम लाए सत्य 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 से कृष्ण निश्चय पाए. Only two things: give all offenses and chant the holy name of Krishna. For sure, for sure, for sure, you will attain Krishna. There is no doubt about it. This is Mahaprabhu's promise for all of us. Let's do it. Let's do it in the way that, and this the whole week is called World Sankirtan, World Holy Name Week. Rather than Saturday evening in India, we had a blissful Sankirtan. We had around 20-30 devotees gone for Harinam. And 30 people will attend that. And there are many newcomers. One of my very close devotee friend, Vimal Prabhu, he gave a very nice talk in Telugu. And that talk is all about the glories of holy name, the past of Majamila. And everybody eventually very happy. We were on Shadam at the end. And then that's our day on Saturday. So my humble request, let us all, including my own self, let us try our best to chant the holy name, to inspire others to do so through our own example. We don't have to force somebody. Let us do it on our own. If we do our own, just like as the example I quote, wearing the footwear, let us show through our own example. In our society of Krishna consciousness, nothing is less. Everything evidently Srila Prabhupada has given. Philosophy full. There is no complete philosophy. Facilities full. There is no lack of facilities. And in the form of beautiful deities, there is no words. Everything is properly available. What is been expected from us is utilize those things and become an ideal exemplary in our society. If we can do that, we will achieve our goal of life. That is love of God. And will help others. Which you say. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I know I spoke so much. I don't have any relation about that. But please forgive me if I spoke something inappropriate. And I beg each one of you kindly pray for me. If I spoke something inappropriate, I will get corrected. And eventually, I will get out of those inappropriate things in my life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dasarata Prabhu, comments, corrections.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class and a wonderful conclusion. It was all the through learning. The problem remains, Prabhuji, is as long as we are listening to you or we are in a temple room, somebody in front of us. So it strikes to us the moment we get out of this room or we go from this talk, then again we are in Maya or whatever. So that's a permanent difficulty. It's a struggle, but as you said, if we really sincerely make an attempt, Krishna is watching. He will help us. That is the only motive. It's really a day-to-day life. It is a struggle, and as you said, if I am correcting myself, or if I put a clean shoe, and everything happens, and I chant sincerely and do my follow the 4 regulatory principles, and read scriptures and solve devotees, everything falls in line. But practical life, sometimes we just stray away. So that difficulty is there. So we need each other's help. Thank you once again, Prabhuji, for one class. I do not have any questions, but devotees, if one question or 2 questions you can ask, or you have any comments, feel free to ask Prabhuji. What's your feeling? At least if you can share in a 1 or 2 minutes, that would be really nice. It's getting late in East Coast, but yeah, go ahead if you have any questions or anything. In West, it is good. Rajnan Prabhu, are you there? You are saying you are in a temple. So Prabhuji will conclude here, and I don't know how much it will not be enough. I'll not be able to appreciate the sweet talk you gave today. It will not be enough. I do not have enough words. We really appreciate your time. And somebody is asking any question, please go ahead. Cannot be. So hopefully we will meet and hear from you once again. And with this, we sincerely thank you. And please unmute all the devotees. Attendance is very less today. Some people from East Coast left. It is 10 o'clock for them. So yeah, please unmute and say 3 times Hari Bol loudly for benefit of Prabhuji. Let Krishna bless him so that we get more chance to hear from Prabhuji. And please unmute everybody and say Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Prabhuji once again.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Do you have 1 minute time? Can we have
Yes.
Little holy name Kirtan?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Anybody we can go if it's late.
Anybody is getting late, you may log off.
No, not for us. Yeah, we have time, but East Coast time is 10 p.m. now.
Yes.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta.
Thank you very much. Nice ending. Hari Bol, Prabhuji. We'll meet sometime again. Hopefully, you will show us some mercy. Thank you once again, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.